No.
Thanks.
I'm gonna be muted for a few minutes because I think my boss is coming in. So I'm gonna.
Okay. I think there was something in the README that said this is a good lab to run models tests and get them working first. That's why I kind of started that way, because all of the features tests are looking for views and like that kind of sounds like the end of the project, or like you have a functioning website at that point already to pass any of those tests.
So
yeah, if you look under models, it's all about getting those like users models set up. I think you got a typo in models. DEL, there you go.
I wonder if I could just go with the. Nope.
Yeah, I tried that. I wish you could do that.
So I'll just go ahead and figure out what the test numbers are. So that's it. Features.
Oh yeah, I see what you're doing. It's a good idea. I never figured that out because gosh, when you got like hundreds of tests, you want to just get to the.
Yeah.
Well, I can learn from this right now. I'm gonna take notes because I gotta figure out how to do this.
Let's see if maybe that works.
Well, if you just copy to the spec.rb.
Yeah, you could run that whole thing and it would run that one test.
All right, so I've got all the. This should be all the models tests.
Okay. John, what did you cut and paste there? Just
So
up
basically, just I was just missing the prepending when it's the beginning.
Okay.
But the little period.
The little dot. Okay. And we did it at the end instead of the beginning. Yeah, that's cool. That's nice to know. I was wondering how to run just the models test.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure I can still flag it with fast fail. Cool.
So that was it.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so this is what I did, and then I just copied their example to build a table.
Okay. So through here.
For the migrating table, I don't know if there's you guys do a different way, but I just did like the Rails G migration. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Now, see, I tried the migration on this one. It doesn't build the table. I had to do it through model, Rails G model.
That's cool. And then I also do the node test framework at the end.
Do you guys know the node test framework? I feel like I don't fully understand why that creates conflicts if you don't put that on there.
Learn has its own tests in there, and I think it creates some standard tests for you, and they might interfere with each other. Or you would also have all these other tests that it's looking for you to pass that don't.
Yeah. For me, it adds like at least 3 pending tests.
It overwrites it sometimes too.
Yeah, so then if you're making your own app, I guess it would be useful to get some tests for free.
Do you need commas there? I don't know. I mean, if it works, it works.
Actually, I don't think I do. Pretty sure.
Also, is it migrate or migration? Or does it matter?
I think it's migration.
Yeah. Sorry, John.
No, it's a migrate folder.
Well, when I was migrating, I didn't do the create attractions. I did the it was just attractions, and then Rails would fix it itself.
Yeah, it does it auto. You're right.
Awesome.
Because that might just create attractions.
I don't think it does.
No?
Yeah, I've done it both ways. I think. Well, I guess we can find out.
This just doesn't migrate.
We'll keep it. Let's rock. See what happens.
And then no test framework.
So nausea and happiness rating. That is, it's the value and then the value type, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
As long as I've spelled everything correctly. Yay.
Beautiful.
You forgot to skip the tests.
I don't know that the migrations.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
It's for if you use like resources or something big.
No scaffold. That sucks. I'm joking.
You won't need it with Devise. It does most of that stuff for you.
I gotta look at that device video.
It's all about users. Make sure, is it just users and
Users.
activities?
There's a users, there's a rides, there's attractions.
Yeah, for the tables.
Sorry, do we know the relationships? But I mean, I don't know. It always helps me to like draw these out, like the relationships.
Once the table is made, it's easy to kind of see the schema, and then
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Okay, so it will
we all
just
have different ways to do things, which is awesome.
append it to attractions.
Can I see it one more time? The migration created? All right, so it does do it. Okay. Fantastic.
Seems like it's smart enough. If you don't type it, it'll use it and type it for you. I guess it's the smarter way for a coder to do it. Then type less.
You mean the create portion?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Okay, so
It's funny how Rails is like intuitive in some ways and just like really dumb in other ways.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that just gonna be your seed data?
just so I can see
Using it so you could see it. That was a nice move.
Yeah.
nausea.
Raging Bull.
Reminds me of back in the day playing all the roller coaster tycoon games.
I remember those.
The good throwing people off the roller coaster by just shooting it off into the distance.
Don't forget to squeeze in your password.
Okay. It does have tickets.
As far as time goes, I'm pretty sure we have like unlimited time, so don't feel pressured that we got the clock ticking.
Guys, Friday night.
Do you know if
we're
it
living it up.
I'll probably be playing with this code all day, night.
Sorry, John. What were you saying?
I was just saying, do you know if it matters the order they're going in?
I don't think so because databases don't really matter.
Right.
It's just looking for the.
I don't think it will either.
Uh,
Like, I forgot
If you
something.
add a
on-
column, you don't dictate where you add the column. You just add the
good
column.
point.
That's true.
It's just the data it cares about.
Nice.
Check that against this. It's way too far.
I'm so happy you thought about this, Kyle, because doing the group work.
Yeah.
Well, it came about because I had my one-on-one with Corinna this morning, and I was like, "So, what if I don't do that project?"
What did she say? Because I was out of curiosity.
She's like, "Well, I'll give you a pass on Twitter," and I was like, "Look, we both know Twitter was fuck busted."
Yeah,
And
it was.
It was
she's like,
annoying.
"Yeah, you're right." I was like, "But this one isn't, so you have to
Okay.
do it. Do
Okay.
your homework." I was like, "Damn it, okay."
Boo. So you said it was users and attractions, and then what else?
Right.
Rides.
Rides. Did they specify
Rides
what
was
that?
just the user and the attraction ID.
Okay.
You did password digest, right, for the users?
Yeah, I think the rides becomes the join table there, right? Because it just has the ID info.
It's just password, but that needs to be digest.
Yes.
We haven't migrated yet, so it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Have you guys? It's a pain in the ass when you got to roll back and like change things. It's like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
I've
and
just
that's
been-
why I try to do my databases first.
yeah.
And if I mess up like that, I'm just like, I'm just gonna re-download the lab. To hell with it.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I've just been dropping them
Yeah, drop
I'm not
table.
sure if it's
I've
dropping
done
right.
that too. Drop table and just start over.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not even sure if it's dropping right.
Create.
I don't bother adjusting or altering columns. Like, no, I'm just gonna shellac
Yeah.
everything and start it over.
So it's rides, and you said users or user ID.
Yeah. And then amusement. I think the other one's
I don't think you need a colon in front of user ID.
You're very right.
And the other one is attraction ID.
And that's our join table, I'm assuming.
Is there anything else? Name of the ride? No?
I don't
No,
think
no,
so.
no, because ride isn't the actual ride. Ride is like the action the user is taking.
Oh.
Like ride
Kind of like
that.
the
Attraction
Uber
is
driver
ride.
ride, right? The
Yeah.
Uber drivers have passengers. Passengers have relationship to the driver through the ride.
Yeah.
So as long as this looks good to everybody.
There was something about adding an admin too, but I think we can get to that later if we have to, and just do another.
Yeah, let's
iteration.
just run the test, make sure.
Yeah.
See what it is.
That's looking good to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We are scheme it up.
Do we want to go ahead and make sure that devise is in here so that we don't do too much?
I haven't tried that.
Devise?
Yeah, I know. I haven't tried it to put it in this. I was building this before I knew what devise was.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure it's just devise, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you're right.
that looks
yeah.
right.
Okay.
Talk about gems, man.
Yeah.
Somebody robbed the jewelry store.
That was good, Alberto.
Alrighty.
Should have muted myself.
Let's see what these are wanting. Past one of them at least. All right. Oh, it might just want. I don't think it was using bcrypt in this one, so it might not need the password digest.
Doesn't devise pull in
See
bcrypt?
it active.
I believe it uses it inherently. So it might cause issues as far as passwords go. I don't know.
We don't have to use it if it's more trouble than it's worth. I
don't know if I rebundle install if it'll remove a gem.
I have password
Like,
digest
uninstall for that?
in mine. I think
So-
it's going to ask for it later.
Okay.
Sure.
John,
I'm
will
just-
you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Will you kill your gemfile.lock and then bundle install? And I think it'll pull bcrypt in.
It already has bcrypt in it.
Oh, okay. Then
It might just be the tests.
We might be failing that until we create a model. I think this is where I was. I got one test to pass. I'm like, why isn't anything passing? And I just built all the models and ran it again, and all of a sudden they were passing.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that, Sajjan.
actually, yeah, that makes perfect sense because we haven't told it that we're using secure password.
Yeah,
Everything is
I think that's all. If you put that in, that'll hopefully pass the password thing that it just said.
That's in
Is
the
there
model.
a reason why user is inheriting from
I think you changed that.
base?
Yeah, I changed it to active record base.
Oh, for attraction?
Application record is what it inherits from when you're using Rails 5.0 or higher and you create models. So that, I asked that question earlier. I don't think I got an answer in the chat.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it matters if you take it out or if you leave it in.
Yeah, I'm passing.
Probably
I'm passing
easier
my
to
test.
not break it by not taking it out.
Okay.
Like I said.
Yeah, I just think it's a difference between what version of Rails you're using.
So are we working on the controller or are we working on the models here?
We want to go to the model, I believe.
Okay. And it appears they already have models, so I don't necessarily, I mean, do we want to generate them? I mean,
We want to do it has secure password on the user model.
On the user model, that might pass that test for us.
And you might as well do the relations between all the models.
all right, so user has many. I guess it would be attractions through rides.
Yeah.
The colon goes before attraction. Yeah, there you go.
I know the colon's always weird. It's on one time it's this way, on time.
Attractions through rides.
There's a colon right
guess.
after the
Going after through, yeah.
Yeah, for the
Good.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Traction.
John, you got all the shortcuts. That was great. I feel like I type too much.
It's taken a little while to get used to.
Mm.
But I like the multi-select. We're able to I can select everything.
I
in
love
line.
that. I love that.
Yeah, it's made a big difference.
I feel good when I do it.
You know, except for when it if you highlight E and you're doing it for your variable name, it'll find random things that match it. I've had that mess me up because I had something as my iterator,
Yeah.
and it changed random things in my code, and I didn't realize it. Okay, so
We need a user has many rides as well.
oh yeah.
This is another place where I'm not sure if order matters at all. That's the way I wrote it, the same way you had it, but I don't know if it would matter if you did it in a different order or not.
The throughs afterwards sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just wondering if that would break anything.
I feel like it doesn't go in any particular order. It's just
Yeah.
as long as the relationships are there.
That's what I'm assuming based
Yeah.
on how I've seen it written in different labs.
Right.
Ride doesn't belong. Ride belongs to one user, so you don't want to
Oh,
put
yeah, user.
one attraction.
Nice.
Oh man, that happens to me so often.
Traction. All right. I think that's should do with our associations.
Cool. Nice work.
We've got, and we don't need anything specifically for. Okay. Yeah, that did.
It's pretty
pass
good.
half
Wow,
of it.
guys. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Alright. Take ride.
Okay, so yeah, now it's building the methods.
Mm.
So we passed all the associations.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't. And I did the same thing. I must have been something wrong. I did.
The admin boolean.
And yeah, so the user does need an admin boolean.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Just true or false, does it have a admin?
Boolean.
Yeah.
Oh, I always thought you guys were saying Boolean. I don't know what that means.
And I don't believe. Well, the generator will recognize the add versus the create, right?
I think so.
Yeah. My only thing is, I think should it be add admin to users?
I was thinking that too. Do we need the S because it's our users model?
That's a good point. Admin and boolean.
Lena.
Yeah.
Brandon, this question is kind of random, but I'm just curious. Does your wife do software development?
She's in the Flatiron course. She
Oh,
doesn't do it
nice.
yet.
Cool. I heard you talking about her doing it as well earlier.
Yeah. She's in the course. We're actually catching up to her really, really fast. So
That's cool that you guys are doing the same program.
yeah. Well, I found out through her,
Nice.
And the farther she got into it, the more I got interested in it. So yeah.
Is she
That's
the
really
self-
cool. I don't think he heard you, Alberta.
I didn't hear what.
Is she in the self-paced or?
Self-paced, yeah. When she signed up, they only offered self-paced.
Oh wow.
So yeah, there was no option for full-time. And then I saw how long it was taking her. And then when I saw there were full-time and part-time options, I knew I was going for one of those.
You should just roll her into our cohort whenever we get there.
Dude, seriously. What does the self-paced even mean? Not to derail us further, but I've never heard of that.
Oh, self-paced just means you do it at your own pace. You don't have
Yeah.
like necessarily defined cohort
You don't
or
get
deadlines or anything. It's just if you only could do 30 minutes a day, you do 30 minutes a day.
But you still have access to like
no.
instructors?
Not as much. No, they restricted it a lot.
Oh man, that sucks.
You can ask a question, but you don't have like a Karina. They limit the amount of times you can talk to. They limit your technical interviews. They limit your career coaching, like Eaton and career services. So
Wow.
you know, like limitations, but it's like
Cheaper, right?
it used to be like $3,000 or $4,000 cheaper. So whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So
awesome.
we've got
I think they started full-time online in last September, so it's still pretty new. That's why it shouldn't be surprising to any of us that it's buggy or it has these things that they just probably rush to market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
It's probably hard to, if you're self-paced, you'd have to constantly push. It's easy to put it off and be like, okay, you know, it's hard.
Dude, I would not succeed.
No, I need the motivation of this is
First
new right
16
now.
months
Otherwise,
is exactly what happened.
I'd be back in sequel.
Dude, seriously,
Yeah.
John. I would be too.
Believe me, she's
I'll do
gotten
that
just as much
tomorrow.
done since I started because she don't want me to graduate before her, as but you know the whole time beforehand. So
Cool. It looks like our models are working properly now.
Nice.
Now, does that mean a user needs a mood?
No, I think the mood.
Is
We need to set up a case.
happiness
Yeah,
oh no,
so
no,
we
no, the
take
database
that,
is done. It's
that
a method
number
that's asked for.
and convert it to.
evaluates?
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, I didn't catch that. What were you saying?
So for this, it's user.mood, and I think that's something that's
it's
Oh, it's
gonna
a
calculate based on level of nausea, I think, and level of happiness, and decide if the user is in a happy or sad mood.
So you would write that in
Would be
Ruby code in the
class
model.
method, right?
I believe, yeah. I think I wrote it in my model as a class method.
Or is it an instance? Because user is an instance. Oh,
Well,
no,
that wasn't.
Users class.
Right. Do y'all want to start, I guess, so at the top of the model tests?
Sure.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need a take ride method. That's for the user not having it.
So it's looking for an evaluation of tickets. So that close these out. I thought they were going to do that immediately.
I ended up building little methods and using them, kind of like helper method kind of calls in the take ride.
Okay.
Because it's looking for a lot of stuff. Right?
So what
It
it's
gets real
evaluating.
sloppy when you write it out.
Because yeah, it looks like both users and attractions have tickets.
Mm-hmm. And the take ride method should be able to put a message if they're missing tickets or if they're too short or if they're both. Otherwise, they're allowed to go on the ride, and it has to be a specific message. So it had these capybara tests where you had to have the exact message as well.
Okay, so it's basically this for the enough tickets or not tall enough.
That's for the
Yeah,
take.
those are it has the what you need, and it also tells you the error message it's expecting to see.
So it wants to be able to error on either or both, basically.
Yeah. So then I think the way forward is to build the little methods and then use them in the
Okay.
take ride method.
So I guess I was not quite correct on that one. But we are gonna need these. Okay. So I mean, it doesn't matter how we define these, right?
Are you defining now?
I'm assuming you were talking about helper methods or is that something that would go specifically in the helper?
I built these ones just in my rides model.
Okay.
I don't know if I think
doesn't-
the user is going to have its own specific things that it needs as well.
Okay.
But I don't know if it matters where you build it. That's a good question. Or if the test is looking for it in a specific place.
Well, you follow the
It's
principle.
calling it on take ride or on ride. So
Ride.take ride. So
If you follow
I'm
this,
gonna, I guess, keep it local.
the method itself usually gives you like, the single responsibility principle. It's like, well, rides belong to rides,
hmm Okay, so put, if I'm checking against user tickets, it should be in the user.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe, but I just think you're gonna have all your methods all over the place because you have to check it against attraction tickets as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know that. I mean,
So let's back up a little bit. And what do we really need to evaluate here? So we need to take the tickets required and subtract it from the available tickets. If we have a positive number or 0, then he had enough tickets to ride. If we have a negative number, they did not have enough tickets.
Right.
Are there any other cases that I'm missing?
So,
Yeah, I mean, and if you can ride, it adds or subtracts to the happiness and nausea.
and
And then tickets is something that we've created that variable, right, when we made the table.
Yes.
So failure against. So as long as the user has more tickets than the attraction requires, they should be able to ride.
I'd say even equal to.
Equal to.
Okay.
And then
So
No,
if you just
I'm
did like,
assuming
like
both-
if users tickets is less than attractions tickets, then they shouldn't ride.
yeah.
In this case, you wouldn't want the equal to, since we're saying the only way they wouldn't be able to ride is if it was less than. But if we did the logic the other way, then you
Yeah,
could use
so
the equal to.
greater than equal to.
Yeah.
I think our logic got flipped when you changed the greater than less than.
yeah, users will be able to ride.
All right,
Okay.
and then- all of these tabs are getting me. Why is that 3 of them? Does that seem about what we're talking about?
I think
Yeah,
so.
but wouldn't so working through this, if they have the tickets but they're too short, I think they would still ride.
Okay.
So I think our height checks need to be nested.
There's also a method that says if they have if they're not tall enough and don't have enough tickets.
So I think this is where Sachin was saying that we could break these out into 3 smaller methods of saying.
Yeah, you can have one that calculates if the user has enough tickets. You can have one that calculates if the user is tall enough, and then using those, you can
clean up this.
my
take
best
ride
friend
method.
Scam Likely's calling.
Huh.
Yeah, something like that.
That's a good idea, and then you can just call on
Yeah.
those in the take ride method.
Yeah, the sample, I can't take credit for any of this because I had to go look and get some help of what I'm even looking for here.
Yeah, but I
There'll
feel
be
like
a lot of information in the tests.
that problem solving is half the battle.
Yeah.
For me, at least. I don't know about for other people.
Yeah, and it's always helpful to sort of see it rather than in the mind's eye, so to speak. Because I'm assuming this will solve both the singular and double evaluation.
Mhm.
So that sort of. Like that. Sort of evaluate if both of these are true.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be more within the if.
Yeah, is tall enough and has enough tickets. Then they should be able to ride and they get a specific message, I think.
Isn't there a sickness check as well, Alberto? Was saying.
I don't think it's a
Yeah.
check.
It says
I think so, but not in this particular.
Ride has a take ride that
I think that's
updates
more
you.
related to the move.
Okay, so
And
it
happens.
updates, but it doesn't check for.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
right.
Okay.
So it should be like a
So and only if they ride. So
I see what I did. I did an update method to this thing.
like what 1 point?
Nausea is user.nausea plus attraction.nausea rating. I think that's how they did it. And then happiness was qualified too with attraction and attraction specific happiness ratings.
Pretty sure you spelled nausea wrong. In some-
I would believe that. N-A-U-C.
yeah, some you got in the swaya.
Yeah, right below your cursor.
Yeah.
I swear.
N-A-U.
I would have done the same thing. Spelling is hard.
Cool.
Now, how do we combine is tall enough and has enough tickets? You just put them both in one method?
Yeah, I would
Like
say
he did on 6.
Double ampersand.
Yeah, line 6 does that for us, Alberto.
Oh, okay.
Well, we can call both of them and it has to pass both of them with that command.
and I'm just going to say if these things don't pass, we're just going to assume they can't ride.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
And
So I guess we'll start with the is tall enough. So what's the, I'm gonna pull up the,
Sorry, period. You are not tall enough to ride the attraction name into a interpolated message.
there's the you don't have enough tickets.
Sorry.
is that something, I mean, I'm assuming that will just be implicitly returned if I don't specify.
Do we need a if-else cases here for when one is true and the other isn't, so they get the specific message?
The message to be,
Yeah, it does.
Right.
It
In
is.
the case of a user being tall enough but not having enough tickets, they need to get the ticket message.
Mhm. So it's a is less than.
Well, that's what our tall enough method's gonna.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We could just do like is tall enough isn't true, or
And just
one of those.
it'll return the message.
Can we do like if is tall enough? That's with a question mark. That's going to be looking for a true or false, right? So we can probably ask it if it's not true, then give them this message.
Yeah,
I mean, could
instead
we
of at
put it
end
in the
on
message
end,
itself? Or in the method, like is tall enough that if it returns false?
that's. I'm open to debate on this, but I feel like we're taking that conditional that starts on 6 and splitting it into multiple places by doing that. I would almost rather have is tall enough simply return true or false, and then deal with the return on the take ride through ifs and elses.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion.
I mean, that's
Somebody
fine. I think that'll be easier logically.
I think that's how I have it done too, where all of those little helper methods are just one line pretty much.
All right. So just basically we're just evaluating if it's this rather than if else.
Yeah.
Right, and then in the take ride method, we can give it a bunch of conditionals on which message to show us.
what if those are just true and falses? Then okay, that's what you're doing.
So if we want to know if the user is tall enough, then it's simple as self.user.height.
Yeah. Self.user.height is greater than self.ride.height.
Yeah.
Question mark, true, colon, false.
Is greater than. What was the, you said?
Self.ride.height. Oh, I'm sorry. Self.attraction.height. Not ride.
Yeah.
We're in ride.
Oh, and height and the user one, you got the I and the E there.
Cool.
That was a fast one.
Self.user.height is greater than self.attraction.height. They should be able to ride. So you don't even need the if, do you? Right?
Yeah, you can just make it a ternary.
Yeah.
Because then that will just return true or false, and then you can use that.
Yeah.
In the other.
Self.user.tickets and attraction.tickets. I think that's correct.
It's greater than or equal to, right?
Looks a lot cleaner.
Oh, and then for attraction, it should be min_height because that's what the table has.
Right.
And then, and it is just tickets. Cool.
I think it's just tickets. Yeah.
Okay. And now this will just generally or automatically return that. So we need.
And I think that's okay, right? If they fail both, it should return that.
Okay. I mean, does that need to be in an else though, is what I'm saying? So it doesn't just automatically return it? Because I feel like that's not.
Yeah. It should be part of your conditional.
Else, yeah.
So we're gonna need an else if or two
I think so.
between
Yeah.
here and there as well.
Okay, so if. And basically going to account for one of these passing and the other one not.
I think so.
Okay, so if is tall enough, evaluates to true.
You could just put it as if tall enough. Oh, If you just did tall enough, is it true or false already, right?
Yeah, and I guess you don't need the evaluation. So then how, I guess we would evaluate to not. Then this would be.
Do they really want did it specify in the test if they wanted those messages to say the specific ride?
It says ride, so maybe just.
Yeah, and it says attraction.name.
Yeah.
So we'll have to be specific too.
Someone's typing away. Sounds like Kyle.
Yeah.
What you said it was
I
attraction.
think attraction.name is what the test spec said.
Okay.
And what was it, right?
Mike Ventura, do you copy?
Oh, and do we need a self.attraction.name? I never know if I can just do add attraction if I need self. I don't. Really.
It's not a class method, so I would assume. Well, I mean, either it'll return an object, or it'll return the name. So I guess we'll just use the test on that one. I'm assuming we just reverse the logic on this as well.
Yeah, just swap where you put the. So yeah, you got it. But I don't work good sometimes.
It's all good. I think we all have those moments. I have enough. That's not right.
Nice progress. Coming along.
Yeah, this is a hell of a method.
This is probably the bulk of the lab, I'm guessing, doing all these.
I
It
think
was
it's
half of them.
yeah.
There's a lot of feature test reviews.
All right, so
Yeah, I think a lot of the methods after the models don't clear until you like do everything.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get a lot done before they don't come off one by one anymore.
Yeah, I hate when they build tests like that. It's not that hard to build a few extra tests and test along the way that you're doing these things right, step at a time.
Controllers and views have to be right before you start passing any tests after that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sucks because you don't get any feedback until you're done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It goes to show you that writing tests is probably very hard.
yeah, I would assume so. Probably why it hasn't been updated since 2016.
You know,
Does that seem right?
Yeah, I'm not sure about where we need to when that comes into play, adjusting the nausea.
I mean,
Is it
right
too
now-
complicated to do it all in this one method? I have no idea.
Right now, it's just set that if it passes these tests,
Mhm.
it'll increase the nausea and happiness.
Oh, I see. The example I used made another one called Go On Ride and had the updates to all of the params in that little helper method.
Good idea.
And then it needs there's a thanks for writing kind of message too that it's going to look for in the test.
Because then you have to write. Yeah, that makes sense. You have to rewrite that code over and over.
Wait, so what now?
We can make a method that does the updates to nausea and happiness and all that separately, so that we just write in one method in that place.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think we could do it in one.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm so glad this lab is not about artists and songs or.
Definitely.
I was a little surprised that those requirements didn't say don't build a to-do app, since Avi has a 6-part video series on how to build your own to-do app.
Yeah.
I think it might be implied by now.
Yeah.
But you think you were saying the session to throw these in the same?
Yeah, I think like something that just like, when you take the ride or go on ride,
Okay.
and then when you're doing that, all of these things will happen for you. Because then if they meet all those criteria with the 2 ands, then we run go on ride.
Makes sense.
Give them their little thank you message.
It's much cleaner that way.
Yeah. Yeah, this part reminded me of the CLI app.
It's the most Ruby we've written in a while.
I know. Yeah.
It feels weird.
All right. So we feel good about that as far as the look on this.
Yeah. See what Capybara says.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Worst
it'll have
case, yeah,
something.
adjust it around a little
Yeah.
bit, but I think the logic is well fine.
Can't tell if we passed any more or not.
Oh, that's why it's.
Sounds like you're booking a flight, Kyle.
Where are you going today?
It's failing because of periods. That's so annoying.
Yeah.
Stupid Capybara.
Okay. What am I missing here? Good Lord.
I'm not seeing the difference in those two.
I didn't save it. I hit Control S, but it didn't
It
take.
looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we passed a bunch.
Yep. So we've got all these tests. Now it just needs to be able to update.
Yeah, it's not updating
Ticket.
correctly.
So-
Okay. So our go on a ride method needs some work, and the rest of it is probably okay.
Oh, it's tickets.
Yeah,
The
we didn't decrement the tickets.
Got it.
Well, and it does appear actually that the nausea and that is not updating.
Is it plus equals 1?
I mean, I think it's based on the ride.
So we need a method that says, that updates tickets, that says, user tickets minus
Do
how
we
many
need
we
to?
need.
Well, we could probably throw that in the go on ride.
Yeah.
Just go
We
ahead.
just need to save that user, maybe.
I did a self.user.update, and then I went in and told it what to specifically update.
Okay.
That's your-
Okay.
That's good.
So
So then tickets is now self.user.tickets minus self.attraction.tickets. Does that make sense? Like whatever they needed to use for that attraction.
tickets minus attraction.tickets. And that is the correct syntaxing on that, right?
I think so. Let's see. Update tickets. Yeah, I think I did it with the rocket arrows, but I think that works too.
Now,
And then you can drop a comma, and then we can do nausea and happiness in the same method.
yeah,
Okay.
So then our table is calculating nausea rating. Okay.
Nausea.
So then we need is it like self.user.nausea? Is this a plus? Are we adding?
Yeah. Oh, self.
Yeah. Attraction.nausea rating. And then happiness is So the user's current happiness plus the happiness rating of the attraction.
I might not need spaces after those arrows. So wait, I'm sorry, what you said?
I
This
think
was-
we're adding the right happiness. Yeah, self dot attraction, and in the table they call it happiness underscore rating. I was failing these tests for so long just because I wasn't matching these variables, and that's the part that's the most frustrating for me on these kind of labs. Is, you know, the coding logic was there, and I kind of understood what I needed to build, but I'm not passing because of I'm not paying attention.
Yeah. So self.user, we don't need this anymore. So we update the tickets to be the user's tickets minus the attraction ticket cost. Nausea is the user's nausea, adding on the nausea rating. Happiness is the user's happiness plus the attraction's happiness rating.
Yeah.
Seems solid. Save that.
Yeah, that's a nice method.
Force admin. Tickets.
Did it update the numbers? Can't.
Undefined local variable or method tickets for ride.
Oh, it's attraction tickets. Where is that at?
Line 30.
Line 36.
So it's
Self
looking.
update that.
It's in the inside the update.
Did I misspell tickets somewhere? No.
I don't have selves in front of mine, and it passed. I don't know that.
Not here.
Would it be just well, who's the user then? It would be it's an instance, right?
Yeah, so this method is getting called on a specific instance of a ride. So
What if you did like user equals params ID and then you know what I'm saying? And then use user as a
So set it as an like an instance variable.
yeah. Do we have to do that like a params ID type of thing?
I didn't do any of that in mine.
Didn't do it either. Yeah. Try
Okay.
without the selves. See what happens. Why isn't this working?
What if we put a binding bride and see like
Make sure those are.
Oh, I see. Tickets. The update. It needs. Do we need a colon in front of it?
Yeah, we will, because it's automatically a symbol whenever you put the colon behind it. But if you're using the hash rocket, you have to declare it as a symbol up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah. By putting in the hash rocket, I mess you up.
Colons. Colons for everybody.
I like that.
You get a colon.
I need to learn how to do those cool shortcuts.
That one's just control. So you can just control click and
Uh-huh.
add a whole
And then
bunch.
click in different places and type at the same time. Okay.
Control shift too, or control alt maybe. Alt shift. There's a way you can basically highlight down like a line.
Mm-hmm.
It's not alt tab.
So you can like select a column.
Yeah, and so it's like if I had this block and I just wanted to take everything but only select like the first 3 characters, I wouldn't have to go like line by line.
That's cool. I can look that up later.
Yeah.
I just see you doing them so naturally. I was like, I want that to be me one day.
I could sit here and hold down buttons and eventually delete something by accident.
Hey, look, we've passed 3 more.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so it was looking for the because it's not a key value that way,
Yeah.
is it? Or it's for the key, I guess. Okay.
Okay.
the default admin, is that something you would do like before each or type of thing or
User defaults admin to false.
Is that be like a model?
We can put that back in our database.
I don't think that's in our rides method. I think that has to go.
So,
Default. I got you.
and I'm actually.
Wouldn't you want to put like oh, I see. Default. Is that what you're doing?
Is it like, yeah, it's like that, something?
I think it's something like that. I don't know if the false is symbolic. And
Let me see what
check your spelling on default.
Default. There we go. Alrighty. Let's see if it likes this migration.
Right. Default. You don't need colons on the false on the value.
Cool. But it's like default colon.
Yeah, Boolean, comma, default, colon, false.
Cool. Yeah. Got nil.
Why?
Did you migrate the table before you did the change?
Did you run the migration again after adding that?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I wasn't. I was on looking at
Yeah.
another. I didn't see.
I rolled it back, so since you don't have any, I'm just going to do that and run all the migrations again. Do.
Like where your head's at.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, it passed one more. Nice.
Yeah, I think it was just the old tables
Yeah.
still existed. All right, so method mood. Pretty sure specifically.
User.mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this should simply be if nausea greater than happy. Is it happy or happiness?
Happiness. Then they're sad, and else they're happy.
Is it? Am I evaluating each of these separately or together?
Is there a? It's not showing any tests for. I don't know if we've caught up with you yet, Sachin, but do we need to account for equal to? If nausea and happiness are equal?
That's a good
Board didn't have
question.
anything. I added something for a board just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
But it didn't have anything for equal to, no.
Yeah, otherwise,
Guess
I
we
would
have
say we
to-
could just do if nausea is greater than happiness, sad, else happy, and call it done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
see what it does.
Yeah, you can do one of those methods that's like, yeah, question mark.
I think they were lowercase. Yeah. Sort of like that.
Would that
Yeah.
be an update method? Do you have to update the user?
I think that's
No,
what the
it's
take
just returning
take
a
a ride.
value.
The go on the ride one is updating that for us.
Oh,
And mood's not stored in our.
You're right. Mood is not an attribute yet.
Also, we don't need the users on there, John, because we're in.
because we're in
This is the user.
class.
So if mood doesn't exist yet until you write this method.
Yeah, and I
Correct.
think it's only evaluating the return value. So on mine, I just said if if that's true, then sad, else happy. Just the text might work. Since you're right, it's not a value it's looking for.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it would have made sense to add mood to the users table. Don't
Cool.
give them any ideas. All right. That was
That
way
is-
faster than it took me by myself.
Wait,
Teamwork.
nice.
I almost feel like dumping the rest of what I was doing because I didn't just lost a little bit. It makes a lot more sense this way.
Now, do you guys want me to make a new repo or just pull it from my fork?
We can fork off yours.
Yeah, we can fork off yours.
What is this? What's this actually called? Rails Amusement Park.
So you just go to your GitHub when we're working on it and your repo, fork it.
I've never tried to do it where I already had my own repo. I can just go in and delete that repo? Or
Yeah, I would think
potentially
so.
has my own code and do it again.
Assuming. What?
What about a submit?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I actually have the learn gem, which is weird because I'm pretty sure that's how I opened this. That'll
Yeah.
be something I can figure out on my own
What if you
time.
did
You can
like
try just
git push origin master?
Git commit.
Slash gem.
Alberto, do you copy?
Oh, that's me.
Nothing's added though, so I can't commit anything. What was the? It's been a minute since. this
Git add and then just a period will let everything.
Yeah, thank you.
We didn't follow the 15 minutes or 15 lines of code.
nope.
Yeah, I think I had to start my project over too because I wasn't committing it all at the beginning, and I was like, oh, let me just do it again, and I'll commit every little thing.
This will push up to mine, not the main
Correct.
master repo. Okay, cool.
That's correct.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if that was right. Yay. Refresh, make sure it took the commit 32 seconds ago. Sweet.
Can you drop that link in the chat?
Is there...
Awesome.
And I will say I've actually used it a couple times to try and see if it was like something weird with the tests. But if you go here and click on the forks, you can see all forked repos.
Cool.
Oh, that's awesome. So you put it up on Slack, right?
Yeah, I threw it up in Slack.
On the private channel or?
No, it was on the main channel.
I mean, I didn't, I will actually move that. That's a good point.
Yeah, we don't want to give that to.
Yeah, we don't want to give away our hard work.
Can't be sharing all the random people.
Somebody's quick with it, probably got it. I'm joking.
I mean,
I've done that
technically,
many
I don't-
times. I'm posting just to one of you guys and drop it in the main one. I was like, whoops.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody else really uses it except for,
I would agree.
Katie, and she does.
Cool.
That Slack bot never gets any attention.
Okay.
Eton's like, please.
It always catches me at the wrong time. Like I'll be in the middle of something, or I just don't have anything constructive to say.
I feel like they should get rid of that out of the curriculum.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't-
these look like all.
Yeah, this is now setting up all our reviews.
Routes. See, the routes is what I struggle with the most.
I guess.
Y'all want to keep pushing, or
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with whatever.
I'm done.
I can stay on. I need a quick bathroom break, but you guys can continue. I'll be right back.
Make
Yeah,
sure you
I'm
mute
still
it.
here. Sorry,
sure
I
you
had to
mute it.
step away for a second.
Don't forget to mute it, Sachin.
Mhm.
wear your headset all the way in? I've heard some things on some video game lobbies.
I always love it. I don't know if any of y'all happen to play Destiny.
Yeah.
But it was in Destiny 1, an expansion came out right around Christmas time. And it's a teen game, so there was a lot of small children who got it for Christmas. And I remember trying to play it afterwards. There's longer sort of raid style encounters. And it'd be like, midnight, 1 a.m. And you just hear some lady come in screaming it and, just shuffling at the headset. And of course, this little kid gets back on, hey guys, sorry, I gotta go. My mom's telling me I gotta go to bed. And it's like that kind of stuff is always my favorite. Listening to people get their ass chewed out by some parent because they violated their bedtime. All right. Do you guys want to start
Yeah.
with a specific feature set?
Yeah, or we could just go in order with them. You throw that fail fast flag back on there.
Okay.
I like that multi-screen thing.
Yeah, it helps because there's a lot of times where I'll be like flipping back and forth and I'll forget what I was doing. So it definitely has come in handy. The only thing I don't like is that it's like because I don't have a paid for subscription for Sublime, like every 30 minutes I get a pop-up.
Wait, what? You have to have a paid subscription?
Yeah, or there is a paid version.
That's crazy.
And I was like, okay, I'm sure it's only like $5 or $10. I'll go and check it out. No, it's $80.
What?
Yep.
It's like, I don't know what you guys are going to give me for my $80, but if it doesn't write the code for me, I'm pretty good with the free version.
That's silly.
Yeah. I think that's the only difference too, is that pop-up goes away.
Yeah.
$80, how often? A month or?
I think just a single use, but still. Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought you said subscription. I was like, what?
I hope it's not.
I think it is a one-time thing.
All right.
If I happen to get lucky on like a scratcher or something and win $100 so they can have my 80, I'll take it as a sign.
If you get a high-paying job.
Yeah. I'll wait on that one though.
That's what we're all here for.
Yeah.
So we got the
First hour of overtime. There you go.
features, and it looks like it's all a ton of just user feature tests. Okay.
I'm glad they're not doing the OmniAuth on this one.
Did y'all happen to finish that lab?
Yeah.
I was able to finish the lab, but I didn't actually do it. I just yanked the Facebook authorization codes that they put on the previous lab. I dropped those in place and was able to run my tests that way.
Oh, nice.
I actually
I wasn't able to actually use it with the server. It was broken for me, but I got the labs to pass.
Yeah.
I just didn't appreciate going through a tutorial on Facebook Developer.
I just hate Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got the Facebook one to work, but it was not how they showed it. It was because they changed a lot of their formatting, so I had to kind of maneuver through it.
It was a pain in the butt. Yeah.
I
had to sign up for Facebook. I don't even have one.
Yeah. See, and that's what I don't like is that
a lot of the commenters said that on if you looked at the comments on that thread, everybody was saying why aren't you just using GitHub that we all have?
on the one the README style.
Yeah.
Somebody made a good point is that you are logging in and your Facebook secret key is respective to your account.
Uh-huh.
So when you push that up to GitHub, that's a public repository with private data.
Yeah.
That's why they were saying to use the .env gem.
Yeah. They told you to put in a .env and put it in your git ignore so that it wouldn't get pushed.
Yeah.
But still, I agreed with her that there were some security issues that they didn't take into consideration by asking students to do this with a private Facebook account.
I couldn't even get it to work. I don't know if I've been having some issues just with my pretty much everything involving gems recently since updating. But yeah, it was weird. The actual lab, I immediately ran learn just to see what the tests were. I got a failure for something outside of the tests, and it told the learn website that I passed all my tests. So I just
Yeah, it does that, right? If you don't run your migrations, it'll go green and pass everything, and you can actually submit and move on.
that's what I did.
That's what I'm going to do on this one.
I actually got a security warning from GitHub because I posted it without making it private, and they're like, somebody, did you do this basically? Did you do this? And, don't do it again.
Well, that's nice that at least they recognized it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So to the routes. Is everybody back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Fun with routes. All right. So I'm assuming resources for users and attractions with the colon. We need nested routes in this one. I can't remember.
I don't know yet.
I don't remember
Let's
either.
just cross that bridge whenever we get to it.
It doesn't say anything about that.
I'm not a big fan of routes.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I actually had to get some clarification on that the nested routes lab or the namespace routes lab.
Yeah.
It was like it was doing all the weird sort of sub routing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Ariel, when we were working on that lab together.
Yeah, something like that.
I had not until that time realized that there's a solution section for the GitHub.
Yeah.
That's made a huge difference because there have been times I'm like, I have no fucking clue what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be in this program still if I didn't know about the solution branches.
I feel like there are pros and cons to knowing about the solution branch.
I have found myself crutching on it a little bit more than I could at other times, but I always try and make sure I go back after the fact and be like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm not just thinking.
I usually just make sure that I know what's happening. As long as I know what's happening,
that's really it. As long as you're taking the time to read the parts you don't think you understand, until you understand them, like it's not a negative because what's the difference between that and looking at Stack Overflow?
Right. Most definitely. Yeah.
That's
I
what
think that a sure test is if you're able to do the projects, because I think that if you were to just easy way into it, you really hit a wall in the project time.
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Because if you don't know how to do proper migrations and all that stuff, you're gonna be screwed.
Exactly.
And relationships, that's the hugest part, I think.
GitHub can't do the migrations and any of the CLI stuff for you.
And the associations, those are tough.
And
that's
Kareem
why
is really good at getting you to explain your code. So if you can't explain what the hell your code's doing, obviously you're gonna.
That's probably why not everybody made it this far.
Yeah. If anything, the biggest problem I have with the solution page is it kind of cripples you from actually searching for the stuff online, which is probably going to be the more reasonable approach when you do have a job.
When you're actually developing,
I agree with you on that.
Too easy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Have GitHub for that, but
the only caveat there is that the labs are looking for something so specific that you don't always find what you're looking for with a Google. So sometimes you just need that. Okay, what's this answer supposed to look like? So I know how I'm supposed to build these. When I have to do it.
From there, I know what's going on.
Or even when it's I'm assuming that if we're working professionally, we're working with the code base that's still functional.
Yeah.
Some of these labs, you get them and it's I'm going to spend 20 minutes fixing routes or updating files that just got left out that seem to be breaking everything.
After they told me that the Ruby section was the one that had the most need of update, and she told us that before we started this section, I made it a point to not let a lab break me and just go to the solution and move on. And just look it up if I didn't understand it after reading the solution.
I also find I think differently from labs compared to projects. Because when I'm doing labs, I'm thinking like a student. What does this test want from me?
Yeah.
When projects, I'm thinking, what do I want from my project? How can I do it? I think differently. Student, I'm just trying to get it out the way.
Did anybody else fill out that survey email?
Yeah, I wasn't too nice about it. The
Yeah,
final section.
I was pretty honest as well.
I didn't get one. What? I remember you guys saying something about that.
Maybe they send them out in batches. Yeah, I got an email asking to answer 4 questions.
I didn't get one either, John. I don't know. Maybe I accidentally deleted it. I don't think I did though.
It had a very fishy ending on it. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
just
With the
at
inner
flatironschools.com or something like that. It was like it looked like spam or
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
notice that until you mentioned it, Kyle. Yeah.
Did it say any like sexy word in there?
no.
That's a
It's
sure
back up on
sign.
Slack.
I mean, I looked up the URL and I found out it was like some Nigerian prince, so I didn't know if I should.
Because I did.
You're like, oh, I better respond to this.
They probably. I've heard that those kind of scams have gotten a lot of people still.
I actually got. It was 2015. I was going up to Seattle for another sort of code boot camp thing, and it was my ignorance, unfortunately, that got me. But it was an apartment that somebody was like subleasing for a month. So I looked at the pictures. I checked it out. It was based in Seattle. It had reasonable rates, and I was depositing into transferring to a U.S. bank account. So I paid my deposit and then got a call, from the supposed landlord. And they were like, yeah, so, there's water damage and you're supposed to be here in a week. We're going to need your full month's rent to repair it and get it up to spec. So I was like, okay, that's reasonable. But I held off because he was like, the owner will call you in the morning. And I never heard back from him, but I eventually got a call. It was like 5 or 6 in the morning from a phone number in Nigeria.
Huh.
And I was like, okay, this is starting to feel more and more worrisome. And the guy is like on the phone. I can hear barnyard animals like goats
Oh my god!
Wow.
in the background. And he's like, yes, this is so-and-so from the property, realty company. And I'm going to need you to do this, and gave me a Nigerian bank account.
Oh my
I
god!
was just like, all right, but yeah, I'll be right there. And of course, never did anything about it, but they ended up getting my security deposit. But
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that does suck.
the thing that I should have known was that the pictures didn't quite match up with the area. Like the views outside of the windows weren't 100% downtown. And this was in South Lake Union, if you're familiar with the Seattle area. So it's not something that would have a lot of trees and background.
Oh man!
That, and it was a couple hours away to drive up there and check it out. But if I had, I would have noticed that the address that they were describing was not the one that was pictured. Because after the fact, I got on like Google Street Views and was like, well, that looks like nothing like the pictures. But lesson learned on that one, I'll say. But I've been Nigerian phone scammed.
Oh
I
man!
got somebody who called me about the IRS wanting like my all my information and
Oh yeah.
a bunch of money from me for me not filling out my taxes right. I was like, this is bullcrap.
Yeah.
I got that call, Ariel, and it was right after I had moved back from Korea. So I had lived abroad for, I don't know, at that point, like 9 or 10 years of, filing from abroad. And I was like, oh, maybe I did something wrong. Should I be like calling them back?
Right.
But the first thing I always do is I Google, and I Google
Same.
basically what they call themselves and see if that comes up as a fraud alert. And sure enough, there was.
It's always like the first hit. It's like, this is a fraud. Don't give them money.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it would be easier because the generators make views, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I was just actually stubbing those out, and those do not need to be done like that. Why this keeps putting it in concerns, I don't know. But all right. Does the case matter on this?
Are you building a model though, or are you doing?
I mean, we've got our routes.
We've got our models put together as well.
Yeah.
What if you did a resource generator?
That's yes.
And I don't think it matters on controllers for capitalization.
Okay.
It only matters for the model, I think.
So what was the one for controllers? It was Rails, G.
I think it's just controllers.
Controller, yeah. Yep.
User.
This one you'll have to do non-test framework.
Users controller.
I think it's just users.
Yeah, I think so.
You know.
Because it'll stub out.
Otherwise, it'll do users, controllers.
The controller's controller. Lose that for the test framework.
That looks good.
Mm-hmm. Wait, can you go back to the identical thing? That always confuses me.
Oh, it made two of them then. It must. Is that what it says?
It looks like it's making assets. I'm assuming when it got the whatever generator they used.
Helpers and assets. Okay.
So it probably is just a stub that
Okay.
it makes, and this is saying it's identical, so it's not making it.
Okay.
I guess we're going to learn about coffee in this JavaScript section, but it's every time I see that, I want to ask a question about it.
Same.
My understanding is CoffeeScript is like an offshoot of JavaScript that Ruby defaults to.
Okay.
Also, what I've heard about it is that it's garbage and just use JavaScript.
Oh, you forgot the plural on your attractions.
Attractions controller.
I think you'll have to change the file name, otherwise it's going to not recognize it. There you go. You're on it. Sorry.
And then attractions controller. Cool. And it was just users and attractions, right?
Think so, yeah.
Now, if only it stubbed it out with all this sort of basic stuff.
Is that what the routes one does? Does it stub out all this? I kind of thought it did, but I can't
don't
remember. But I mean, like, that's also something you use before you do all the work we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that should be good. Am I missing one?
Index, maybe?
Yeah.
Do they want you to do the private?
I was just about to ask that. Do we need anything to be private?
Eventually, probably.
Rams.
Yeah.
Okay, so it needs its templates. Yeah, with users.
I wish there was a faster way to do this because I always, when I make files, I'm like,
Scaffold, unfortunately, is the only
Yeah.
way I know how to.
Yeah.
I always end up getting something in html.erb, like some typo.
me
I
too.
gotta go back and fix it.
I'm amazed I haven't done that yet. That's where I expect
you will.
all my typos to be, because you type it so often.
Right, exactly.
Why can't I open the container? Okay, so views and our attractions.
It's a different error.
It's looking for a root URL, so root path, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's just looking for the user.
Href equals root URL home, so it looks like it wants a home page.
As the root route.
Views. Folder.
Oh, you need a home controller. Wow.
I mean, I don't know if we actually do, but
I think we do actually. I think I saw it on one of the. I don't know. We'll see.
so. Was it? I don't remember how to actually declare a root route. Let's see if there's.
Would it be like get the name of the?
I'm gonna go with root is.
I think it's just root and then the folder, the directory name, plus then the pound sign and then the route name.
Like that?
Yeah, that's what you called it. So I think that should work.
I don't know if this test had anything to do with it, but okay.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's looking for a particular folder name or anything. I don't remember.
Building against the tests, not against an actual format.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at
Category element. I'm going to find visible field user name.
So does that be the new?
users. New.
Are you gonna do I can't think of the name. You know the form file that's called
Impartial.
yeah.
Pretty sure that was how it was structured.
I think your ERB tag needs an equal sign if you want to show it.
Okay. I think that was how it was at least. Maybe this one didn't have it. Never mind. New form will be is it at
I think it's just user.new for the new one because there's no user yet.
Yeah, we're going to be passing in an empty user.
create?
Yeah, that's right.
So for at user, do I've seen Corinna's where it automatically like finishes off the ERB tags. I want to.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because that is the most annoying thing is having to remember which shift character I'm hitting.
Well, no, you know what sucks with the ERB tags is that all the keys are so far apart from each other on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it's just such an unnatural motion. It takes longer.
Yeah.
I do like the Spider-Man fingers, you know.
hmm
So it'd be label and then label 4 or user dot label, I think.
So wait,
User dot label. Is that right, guys? User dot label.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, well, there's two different. If you want to do it the ERB way, it would be user.label. But you could just do label name
And then,
colon.
so.
Yeah,
within
that's just the HTML
tags.
way of doing it.
There's so many different ways to do this.
I know.
Yeah.
Pretty confusing sometimes.
If you want that user.name to display, yep, there you go.
Okay, so this is just a display form. Well, no, because it wants to fill in. If you look at the error, fill in username with. So yeah, this is to create a new user.
Mhm.
So
It's a text field area.
we need user.text field space colon name.
I did user because you're using the variable user, so user dot label colon name, then user dot text field colon name,
Is it underscore text field? Underscore.
text underscore field, yeah.
Label dot name.
And then I think it needs it for all of their attributes on the users table.
Text.
There's a lot of them.
And those need to be ERB.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Put the schema.
Is that right?
We got name. Now I'm assuming.
I don't know that the name gets appended like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's instead of a period, it needs to be a space and a colon.
You're good there. User dot label is okay, but after the label, yeah, right there. Yeah.
And then after field, we'll need to add in which field it's for as well. So for that one would be name.
Now this is not going to be a nested one, right?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
So name. And I mean, like, I'm assuming we don't set tickets, nausea, happiness, and stuff like that, right? Is that something they want?
I don't know.
I
Don't think the lab is really pushing that too hard.
I would just pass test by test. So we'll put in the name, test it.
Yeah. I ended up building it all and then passed, but I don't know if it actually needed it all.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's not a fun way to go about it, but
What if if you looked in the spec file?
Who is rendering?
Yeah, we
Feature.
could.
Oh yeah. You talking about in here? Or are you talking about in the specific spec? Like
Oh, in the specific spec file. I'm looking at it right now, seeing what they require.
User sign up, expected a bunch of stuff at sign up, huh?
I should probably change the name of that in all honesty, because it's not just new.
So if they're expecting all that stuff at sign up, doesn't mean we need to create it. The user would have to put in all that info to sign up. really stupid app.
Either that or they enter their username and password, and then it gets initialized with the default value.
Okay.
Potentially, I don't know how the test is.
Yeah, I was looking at standard username. So the numbers are different for their content, but non-admin. Ugh. This is reminding me why I don't like these tests.
Agreed.
Does it want you to do the user and then does it want it to be like
It is
in
not
brackets? Like user brackets user and then brackets name?
Like,
Yeah. Sometimes it's finicky like that.
let us see.
Oh, jeez. Oh, then I
Convert the
don't know.
symbol into integer.
How is that supposed to be? Although that
Oh, the name would just be without brackets. I think. I don't know. The name. Yeah, that might work.
I've never seen an extra bracket in there like that.
Oh man, I don't know that.
If anything, I would say the user would be
Without brackets.
yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe take the colon out from the user.
Yeah. Right, because it's the user from the method in there.
Well, the errors keep changing.
it's not liking
Undefined method.
this. Maybe it's just user.name since it's not.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, it's a new form.
See, I thought the form fours, when you pass them an object, it took care of that. But
So this is that's gonna be wrong.
I see what's going on. I'll post what
I think it's returning the entire user class is what it looks like.
I've got it working on my end. So the only thing I did different is, so I've got user.text field, and it's just colon name afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah, just like Alberto passed in.
Okay, so user.label text field and colon. Make sure I'm actually like looking at this right. Is it also because this is that?
I didn't put parentheses around my user variable. It likes that.
I think the prize still in there.
If you're passing it in as an argument, do you need it to be an instance variable?
Yeah, otherwise it won't persist from the controller to the view.
Oh, true.
Visible field user name.
That's weird.
And
I wonder if it wants a form tag.
I've got a form. Drop the parentheses around the user and add an equal sign in front of the form 4.
Oh
Sorry
yeah.
about that, I'm back.
Yeah, there's no equal.
Yep, that'll do it.
But the parentheses as well.
Well, they might work.
Okay, it's moved on to happiness.
Cool.
Nice.
So it does want.
Cool. Nice.
You got to put them all. I have a feeling. I have a feeling you'll have to put all of their whatever the users table had on it.
IE or just.
No, just I.
Okay.
Cause I'm happy.
Alberto.
You got Naswaya again.
Nausea again. Yeah.
Must be like an
That's
ex girlfriend or something.
Can't get her off your
Referring
mind.
to this Naswaya.
NASC.
Guys are hilarious.
Okay, tickets.
Tickets. What else was on the table for missing?
I think that should be it.
Happiness, height, name, nausea, tickets, password.
Ah.
And then eventually we'll have to do some stuff with letting them check if they're an admin or not. But I think this will pass the beginning test.
Yeah, it's a
Was
big.
it submit, right?
Oh yeah, we need to submit.
The button.
And I think it needs to have the create user value.
Yeah.
Wait. This guy.
Whenever I switch from learn to RSpec, I mess it up every time. Like I keep typing learn instead of RSpec on my end.
I'm sorry, what did you say for the submit button?
Value?
Inside of quotes, create user.
Is that for the user dot? Huh.
I don't know. See, that's the one thing I don't like about fail fast is I'm
Sometimes
assuming-
it doesn't go in order.
Let's just see if we're still passing that first one.
But
Holy
It
Lord.
doesn't look
This one is written out all funny because it's only like 2 sections. It's like the models and like the user.
Yeah, and
So-
everything is under features. There's
Yeah,
a lot of tests there.
So you're gonna get 42 no matter what you do.
is that in the controller? Maybe the.
Yeah, we don't have controller methods to find users or anything stubbed out. It looks like couldn't find user without an ID.
Yeah, because our user create, our create method is just at user equals user dot find params ID. When we need it to be at user equals user dot create user params,
Right.
blah 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 blah.
so what's the-
That makes sense.
how's it? Can't remember exactly how to do the strict params.
Params dot require,
Yeah,
and then parentheses, and then dot inspect with all the attributes. Oh no. Require.
require user colon user inside of parentheses.
And then after that, you do dot inspect.
I usually do dot permit.
Oh, that's right. That's what I meant to say.
Commit, and that's within parentheses as well.
Whose team are you on? Yeah, it's within parentheses colon, and then it'll be name, tickets, nausea, happiness. That's way.
I was late to that one.
I don't even know what else is there. Name, tickets, Naswaya, happiness.
It's right there next to us.
Height.
Yeah.
Oh, duh.
And then I'm not sure if we can just put off admin until later, or if that needs to go in here as well. I can't remember what I did.
Well, if it's gonna be needed, do you think we just put it in?
Sure. If it complains about it, we can always take it out.
Yeah, because with permit, it's not required. It'll just allow it.
And this isn't someone you just set before on because it's not validating anything.
No, I don't think we need to do any like, before actions or anything like that.
But then the create method, that's when you gotta do the create user.create.
No. User create, user params. And then there's eventually that'll ask us to do some validations about sessions. But I think for now,
What about redirecting?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the kid just crashed the party. I think it's time for me to get going.
Aw,
Thank
sounds good. Bye, Brandon.
Thank you, though, man.
take it
Thank you,
easy.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Well, something will be in Slack about when the next time we get together on this is.
Cool.
Oh,
Say hi to Nasuya.
So I'm gonna have to go in and obviously change my Slack nickname about that. And I think that redirect is where we want it to go, right? So it goes to a specific user.
I think so. Yeah. Or sometimes it's like the index, but I don't know what it says.
I feel like they've done redirects like 7 different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
annoying.
Frustrating.
It's like different people are writing the curriculum.
Well, you can definitely tell that there's been styling changes with like how many of these things get copy pasted and have spaces instead of tabs.
Yep.
It's still not liking. Oh. Huh?
Did you save?
Yeah, I mean this is saved up.
Where is it getting user.find?
That's weird.
Maybe that actually might be an old test.
Oh, yeah, you may have scrolled past it.
Here. That will be the easiest way to find the top. Okay. User
Oh, good.
keys ID.
So it looks like we passed a bunch of feature tests there at the end, right? Or those?
Those are
Is that what
just,
that means? Those little pluses, or no?
I think those are the other ones, the model.
Oh,
test.
okay. The local.
Oh, I think it doesn't have a show page, or does it?
It doesn't at the moment.
I think I'm a little confused as to where you're redirecting it to. The user path user.
So for the new created user, it will take them to their show page.
And I think
Okay.
because we don't have a show page, it's not taking you there.
Could we just do redirect to new or
Oh, you do.
redirect to a page we have and see if that?
You do have a show page there.
Yeah, there's a show, but have you written? Yeah, there's nothing in it.
I mean, I don't think it would care about wher or not it actually.
I
had
don't think so either.
Yeah.
I got mine running past that, John, and I just did redirect to at user instead of the inside the path.
So that's the faster way to write it, right? The shorter?
Like I said, I've seen it so many different ways. I really don't know what the difference is or if there's a benefit to one over another.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Oh, that
So
worked.
it got,
Yeah.
it's sending us to users.
That's a show page then.
Huh.
But users is an index.
Yeah, so that's
Users
what,
is a folder.
So maybe it wants user path. But then that's what you had already, right?
Yeah, that failed the test. Remember?
Let's see.
Yeah. Oh man.
The only thing mine that's different about mine and yours is I don't have @user, I just have user, and instead of having a new user params and a save, I have user.create.
Okay.
But I don't know what neither of those things would make sense to. Yeah, so mine's just user create, user params, and then redirect to user.
It's not user.create isn't assigned to something. Or is it-
User equals user.create,
okay.
redirect to user.
Hmm.
That's so weird.
Got users. Do we have to change the routes?
I was about to say, did we do something in the routes?
So our users and our user get would just be
there is user show. Huh.
So it should be working.
Yeah. I wonder if the name of the route.
It is going to the index route though.
That's if you type users though.
Oh, you're right.
So
Kyle, I love when you have an epiphany because you do this thing where you're like, oh.
Well, if you could see me too, I'm like,
It's probably in the routes
one
where
side of
it's
my
not
beard's
user.
gonna go bald.
Is it
That's awesome.
user for the resources or is it the plural?
it should be users,
Okay.
and I don't know why it's not taking you to the show page.
So this could be just a weird capybara thing, but our show page isn't flushed out, where it doesn't tell you what you actually need to fix the problem
Mm-hmm.
because capybara. So in the controller,
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
all right.
Good. So our form for, and then show.
So we'll do @user equals user.find by ID params ID.
It's a find by or just find?
Whichever.
Because find by specifically looks for ID, right?
I think find specifically looks for ID. Find by you can specify, if you look by name or whatever.
You need to put find by parentheses, colon, whatever, key, and then params, and that same key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Current path.
That's so weird. Like I'm not.
I just did instead of a redirect to, mine just says render and then space colon new.
So it renders the new route?
Yeah, that's what I did. But I'm not even sure I was passing this test or not because I got confused once I
See
got
if
to
we
the
just render
features.
the show without specifically giving it a route. Still getting users. So yeah, user doesn't have an ID because it's not. Well, that might be it because it's not actually getting created.
The user is nil.
And why is that?
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh, do we have? Is password permitted?
Has secure password.
Yeah, so we don't have a password getting stored. And if it's has secure password, it's not going to let us create.
Oh, true.
So that ID is not going to get initialized.
So on our new form,
So we're just like tripping
No,
over
we just
our own
need
foot.
to add it to our strong params.
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, I don't think the order matters, but just in case. That is a good point.
So then if you do redirect to user, so that's why it was doing that. It was because the
Cool.
thing was nil. The ID was nil.
Got it.
Huh.
Well, at least it's getting to the show page now.
Yeah. So it just now it's looking for the user in that page.
Show, we're looking for name.
Find method name.
Does it need to be in a form format? Or should we just do @user.name in ERB tags?
Users getting past a weird value here. This is not what it's looking for.
Whoa.
That
was all under user?
Yeah, this is what the individual user, it's passing in like the object, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do.
But it's like the entire HTML. I'm pretty sure that's XML that it's getting passed.
I think it's doing that because it's inside of a form.
Okay, so then we would just do.
Let's just put @user, or inside an ERB tag, just @user. Yeah.
Oops. Stop. Toggle navigation home. My text mood. It doesn't. Users don't have a mood though.
Yeah.
We did refine that method though.
So then
Where
how?
did we put that? Was that in the user model?
Yeah.
Think so.
In which case we could use it.
So our model.
Yeah, so we could just do user.mood.
Now I don't know if that's something like.
Yeah.
Sometimes I noticed that Javi would put things in P tags when Capybara was not taking it well.
That's actually a good point. The H1s get weird styling stuff on them.
$15. Oh, that's an ad.
Tickets, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's go.
And see, like, so after you get 15 passing, it'll say 58. Well, I guess that's height.
Yeah.
Height and just like a couple other. I guess those won't be declared values though, because height was the last one. The others were calculated for mood. Oh my
Hey.
god.
That's a lot to pass one test.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I just realized, like y'all said, that is one test.
Yeah.
Oof.
User
61
ID.
more to go, or 41.
Yeah, you remember the first time we had to do a big one like these before the project day? It had like 130 tests. Like, and as intimidating as that is, I'd rather have it do that because at least you can go step by step.
It was the music CLI library.
Yeah, that almost broke me.
Yeah, I didn't finish that one.
I don't think I did either.
Good thing we don't have that model anymore.
That was actually part of the reason why I fell behind. Like, I started originally in the like late November cohort, and I was not keeping up very well. And I got to that lab, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, I'll finish that, and then I'll start my project." And it was like a week later, I was still working on that, and I was just like, "I'm kind of fucked here."
The guy who helped me out that lab, he said that that's one of the hardest labs that there is in the whole.
I believe it. It was a lot.
Yeah,
A
I
friend of mine
started
that did this. A friend of mine that did this program on her own self-paced told me that the first project building, your own CLI was the hardest thing she did in the whole thing. But I found the Sinatra one to be way harder because the routes were breaking me.
Yeah.
And now we don't have to write routes, so I'm even more angry about it. It's like, why did I have to be broken by routes if I don't have to write them myself?
So this one, it looks like it wants it to add, create a session, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So do we need to go in and enable sessions? Because I don't even remember where that goes.
No, we need a sessions
I think it's
controller.
in the
Probably.
application controller.
I thought it was sessions was done, like through Active Record or something like that. Like it was.
Yeah, and then you can just do a sessions controller, but you might be right. We got to activate it somewhere. That I don't remember. Or we just define sessions in our.
So. This is what I have for a previous session controller.
Can I take a look at the application controller there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not there.
Was it in the environment?
Yeah, in your application controller, we can make a current user method.
Okay.
That's what I think we've done as a pattern in a lot of the labs.
Right.
We're going to need a current user. We're going to need a require a login method. We're going to need eventually need something with admin.
And a log out, maybe? No?
I think the is logged in should cover that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one test I'm failing. I think I had 13 or 14 that are still failing, and one of them is because I didn't tell it how to log out. But I'm not sure where that needs to go.
I think it's just the destroy sessions. Like, it's like something like this.
Yeah.
And you just call destroy.
Okay.
And
yeah, I don't know if I've done that yet.
These ones that are like half functional, they like pass tests, but they don't have all the examples needed.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like more of a disservice.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, because they don't really tell you what they've decided to leave out. There's so many labs where I was failing and didn't realize that they left out the routes. That they didn't say that.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the test right now. I don't know if this is a kind of like a hint for us, but it says in the login test, it says admin sign up method is defined in login helper.rb. Admin sign up method. So I don't know if it wants a method for admins to sign up specifically.
I'd rather deal with that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can get to the admin stuff, and there'll probably like specific tests that do all the admin stuff.
So it says user sign up method is defined in login helper.
That's what I was wondering, more so like the login helper.
Mm.
Huh. In login helper? I didn't do that. Maybe that's why I'm failing it.
Users helper. So, I mean, is that just that's like a separate thing? It's its own.
I think it's its own module.
Yeah, I mean, I have helper methods in mine, but they're all empty. I just built them because I thought I might need them.
Wait, what was it called again? Login. Yeah, login helper. Okay. I have no idea how to associate this with the sign up.
Yeah, the only way I've ever done this is with the first check if they're a current user and if define current user. Without seeing more of the test, I don't know what they're looking for.
So it's going to the user sign up from the user's new route. So user session ID equals, what did we call that? User's controller. So user's new route. ID. I mean, I don't know if that's how it's calling it is the thing. This one's kind of got me.
So in the test, it says visit users.new, and then the user sign up method. After it calls that method, it has content Amy Poehler. That's like a name probably.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think
it just logs somebody in then, right? Or does it create a new user?
it's going off of this user object.
So does it expect to create a new user? I'm not sure.
And then it's looking at,
I think what if you read your,
because that's the problem is this is just a helper.
oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Wait a
I'm
minute.
gonna post something I have. It's all in my application controller. Is there a quick way to post code in this chat?
Yeah, just the chat bubble thing.
Okay.
And then there's like a space in the bottom. It's type. Oh, there you go.
So under the application controller, I told it what the helper methods were so that you could use it other places. And then I just defined
So you're
how to
saying
check
in
for
the
login and for admin.
application controller.
Yeah, I don't think it'll matter where we put it unless they're specifically asking to look for it somewhere. And it almost sounded like they were, and maybe that's why I'm failing from what Alberto was saying.
So just keep this within the class.
Kyle, you got any ideas?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's like, what does it want? It wants to use the user sign up helper method to sign somebody up when they go to new. So this is going to use that new, which is creating a new user.
So this is a I'm looking at completely different helper methods then, right? Where this test is talking about a user.signup method.
So, John, the test failure that we're on is saying specifically that we should have a session key called user ID.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to believe that
We're calling this on the rides.
no, because it's a session key.
So when you log in or create a user, we should create a session right then and there.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
So you want me to throw this in here? Just I can comment it out for right now.
Yeah.
And go to users when we create a user, and then set a session when you create them right underneath.
Oh. Yeah, I had that, and then with a redirect to the user path.
Good call, Kyle. That basically gives you the clue right there in the test. I mean, that's how most of the labs have been. They set sessions when you create a user or when you log in.
Is it going to make us check for validity? I don't remember if this lab has that.
We'll see.
Session.
It's in our login helper. I don't even know why it's looking over there though.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you get rid of it.
We just get rid of that?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, back to the same error.
I think this is actually, it's having issues because it's just sending us back to the user's new path, which means it's not creating the user anymore.
My code looks the exact same, and I passed another one. If user equals user.create user params session user ID equals user ID, redirect to user, else redirect to user's path plural.
Do you have a login helper?
I do not. So I'm thinking maybe that method might be getting tripped somehow.
Yeah, just delete
I'm
it.
just gonna get rid of that for now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay.
Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah. So successful user sign up.
No route.
And then I guess so the session, does it have an admin ID? Page.
Do we have a sign-in page?
That's what we're failing on now, Alberto.
So no route matches, get /sign in.
So just add a new file now. A view file.
Well, we've got to get the route going first.
And that means we're gonna have to declare a custom route, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you create.
Remember, Alberto, we were talking about routes in this one, and this is
Yeah.
why we needed the specific ones, because it's asking for something that's not generated by the resources
So
command.
it's like route.
So even if you created a new file called sign up, you would need to do a route, because isn't the resource users take care of all that?
Resource users gives you new, create, show, index, maybe one other. And then because they're asking for something specific called sign in or sign up or what
yeah.
they're asking for, it's not creating that. So we need to specifically create that one.
Gotcha. So what's going to be our sign-in page? A different view file or the same one?
Yeah, it'll be like get sign in and then sending it to the new page.
Oh, the new page. Gotcha. That's what I was wondering.
So do we need a sessions views? I guess it doesn't matter, right? As long as we're telling it where to go and that page does what it's supposed to do, unless the test is looking for a specific route. Yeah, user.signin makes sense to me. And then we just create that file.
Yeah, because it's not worried about the users. So I think sign in just is going to be. Is it just going to be a blank view?
You spelled sign in wrong in line 7.
Singing. I don't know. Is that the proper way to structure a route?
I haven't done it this way. I did a get sign in and then a 2 with a colon with the path.
Okay. It's been a while since I've used anything but resources.
Yeah, me too.
That looks good.
So let's see. Routes.
Oh,
Something.
that's not good.
2. Is there a comma after sign-in?
Let me look what I missed. Get sign in, comma, after the sign in. The rest of it looks okay.
Cool. Those aren't. All right, yeah, so get sign in goes to sign in. Users sign in. Now, I guess does it have to be?
Oh, now you want to say to users.new, right? Users hash
Could
new.
do, unless it's specifically looking for that. I don't see why we couldn't send them to the new page.
It's looking for
Well,
sign in though. On
Yeah,
the top.
there's a difference between signing in and signing up.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's not giving any subfolder, so I'm not sure if that's just like a view that exists
Let me see.
outside of a subfolder.
Well, the way we routed it, we told them to go to users specifically. So I think our views should match that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not even looking for any data because I created a sessions and a new.html.erb and left it empty. And
Do you need a controller route called sign-in?
probably. Although it's finding.
Oh,
Cool.
I guess I didn't care.
User sign up successfully.
probably
as
do.
non-admin.
Since we're going to need to be passing it data.
And it looks like it's looking for a nested form, right?
Yeah, it's looking for
Select
a
file.
specific user. I don't know why it's
Is this now that is it talking about non-admins? So do we have to specify at this point?
I think if you look at the demo page, if y'all messed around with that at all, if you log out and go to log back in, when you log in, you have to choose your name from a Dropbox,
Huh?
which is incredibly stupid.
Wow.
Because it does look like it's looking for a select box,
Yep.
not just an entry field.
I wish these tests told you like, hey, I'm looking for this and it should be in specific view folder, right? So you know to go put it there.
Yeah.
They're not that nice.
No.
No, they are not.
Okay.
I'm going to flag it.
Visible select box.
Technical foul.
So, does anybody know the HTML format for a select box off the top of their head?
Yes.
Collections from select.
Yeah, that's it. But it's not off the top of my head. That link Corinna put up the other day, whenever I asked in Slack about the syntax for collections from select,
Mm-hmm.
that link was very helpful.
Yeah. I will say. So it's like we're basing this on the selection of session, or is just users.all?
I'll look at my notes. I got some notes here about that.
Pretty sure this was user.all, just because it needs the full collection.
All right. It is collection select. The first argument is the field namespace and then the field name. And you can leave off the field namespace. And then it is the collection that you're selecting from. And then it is the value that you want to return, and then the value that you want displayed.
Okay, so we're looking for.
I posted a form with it on. I don't know if if it follows exactly the same thing, but
So I think ours should be collection select user ID, and then it should be user or a capital user dot all, and then it should be ID.
Now, is the user ID? Is that based on the session?
but if they're logged out, then it can't be, right?
No, it's not based on the session.
Okay, you're right.
So the first argument is the name, that it's going to be, because remember this is a form,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the name that it's going to be saved
On
as the parameter under.
gotcha.
So because this is being called through the user's controller, it doesn't need the object.
Well, it's going to
It's-
store the information that you select under user ID when you go to the controller and get that information.
Okay.
So it's like if you filled out a form and like name equals John or whatever, that's stored under name, right? Well, in this case, it's a collection. It's going to store it under user ID. So when you go to your controller to do whatever you want with this, the value is going to be user ID. Is that right?
Okay. So it needs to be user underscore ID, not user dot ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So, and I'd also make that a symbol.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a key and a hash, colon.
Oh,
And I think it's not collection select. I know I said it's collection one without the plural, right?
collection. Yeah,
That was my fault.
collection select.
And then, okay, so the user ID, that first user ID, that is the key that is going to be saved into the params hash under. All right. And then the user.all is the collection of objects that is going to be chosen from out of this box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after that, we're going to do colon ID, and that is going to be the value that's passed into the params hash. And then the name is going to be the value that's displayed to the user in the Dropbox.
Makes
So
sense.
do we need to change the user params private method to accept user ID?
No, because we're not going to be using user params
Okay.
necessarily.
Hey guys, I gotta hop off. Will you let me know when you guys are gonna meet again over the weekend, and I will definitely be there.
Do
Yeah.
y'all want to just put a pin in it for now?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that too.
Yeah, it's been 90 minutes.
Take a
I'm
break.
getting fried.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I'm
when's good for everybody? Is anybody doing anything tomorrow?
I'm around all day tomorrow.
I mean,
Y'all want to start at like 10 in the morning?
um,
Too early?
that
This
works for
Friday.
me. I just have something from 1 to 4. Any other time is good. So 10 is good.
10 is good for me. 10 what?
10 is 9 a.m. for us, Alberto.
Okay.
Does that work for you guys, or do you want to do it a little?
I
be
can
fine.
do it.
You sound enthusiastic.
No, I got to do something, but I can, it's not like on a set time, so I can do it after we work on our project.
All right, cool. So 10 a.m. Let's plan on that.
Okay.
I'll post it to the group, or like, actually, Alberto, you want to do that since you have the link?
Yeah, I'll post it.
Cool.
Awesome. And then if you guys, If Alberto, if you want to send the video to the group too, I'll make sure that Katie gets it because I know her work schedule has been kind of crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you commit these, I'm gonna look at my code and I'm gonna refactor it to match what we've done here because it just looks nicer than some of the crap I had in mind.
Yeah, Ariel, I'll get the video.
Cool. Or just like send it to Katie yourself, either one.
Okay.
On a positive note, that's 22 down and 40 to go.
Yeah.
Nice. That's good.
The,
What else could be there? What else?
The features tests are horrible because, like you saw, just to pass one, you got to do a lot of steps.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for a group. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be pretty miserable to do by yourself.
Yeah, like I said, I cut and paste. I got to a point where, okay, I passed models, and then I just cut and paste, and I was hoping that the code I used would pass the views, and it didn't. And I had like 14 failing, and I told Alberto this morning, I was like, I'm just going to pass this lab and not run migrate, let it go green, move on. There's enough code in there. I don't know if anybody's ever going to look at it.
Yeah.
So John, you pushed it up to your GitHub, so you can clone it now if you want to work on it, right?
Yep, it is 2 feature tests was my note. Yep. So we should be up to date.
All right.
Cool. All right.
right,
See you
so-
guys in the morning.
That was really productive. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Cool.
Good
All
stuff.
right.
Take it easy, guys.
See
Bye.
everybody tomorrow.